right, good morning everyone. Why don't we go ahead and get started? We should be here for the Accidental Project Manager. This is the Simplex-IT PM monthly webinar. If you have any questions or are having any technical issues, please type them in the chat window of the Skype meeting. I have muted everybody, I think, if I did it correctly, just to cut down on some of the background noise. So certainly, please, we welcome questions. If you have any questions, just enter it in the chat window or say, hey, Patty, unmute me, and I sure will. But again, we should be here for the Accidental Project Manager. So I'm really excited about this webinar. I had thought about doing this topic several times, and actually I was chatting with Doug, who heads up our DBA branch, and he always talks about the accidental database administrator, right? The guy or the gal that's it's not their job to maintain the database, but yet they sort of end up doing it. And I thought, there's a lot of similarities there with project management because, how many of us, it's not our job, it's not in our job title to manage projects. It's not what we signed up for, but either it's a passion of yours and you just really like doing it, or it's something that needs to be done. We have projects around the office that need to get done, and sometimes we don't have a project manager to do it. So that's how the Accidental Project Manager was born, and I love the concept of it because I truly feel like there are more accidental project managers than there are planned project managers. So I'm really excited about this one. And then, like I said, if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to type them in the chat window. Okay, so this slide here, we're looking at some of the partnerships that we work with, Microsoft, Sophos for security, things like that. Just wanted to show you some of the great partnerships that we have. Should Simplex-IT be your IT department? Well, we sure hope so. So if you can answer yes to any one of these questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If we're already working with you, I hope we're doing a great job. And if we're not, then let us know. And if we are, let us know. We are very busy. So these are our upcoming events for the next couple of months. We have several speaking events, but I put them on here anyway, just in case you're in the area and you want to check it out. So we do a lot with the Ohio Society of CPAs, and that's what the majority of the first several speaking events are for. So we're actually going to be in Dayton tomorrow, Columbus, Youngstown, Cleveland, speaking at their events. The next webinar that we have, or the next two webinars, I should say, in June, on June 9th, we're doing the Office webinar, and this I thought it'd be fun over the summer to have sort of a light, fun topic. So we're going to be talking about perfecting graphics in Office. Recently, I've started doing a lot of the marketing materials for Simplex-IT, and I don't have any graphic tools. I don't have Photoshop
Is now joining
or Illustrator, so I do what I can with what I have, right? And I have Office. So I found that there's a lot that you can do in Word or PowerPoint or what have you to alter your graphics. Whether it's just making something black and white or doing a washout. So I've done a little bit more of that and been pleasantly surprised with how much you can do. So even if you have other graphic tools available to you, sometimes it's nice to just do what you need to do in the program that you're in. So we'll talk about that. And then I'm really excited, on June 16th, we're going to talk about Office 365 Planner. So that's our PM webinar. Office 365 Planner is the new PM tool from Microsoft. It's very different from Microsoft Project. So I'm excited to show that to you and see what you think of it. Also, for the accidental project managers, I'll be focusing also a lot on you folks as well, because I think that there's a lot of tools in the Office 365 Planner that can help, that might scale down a little bit from Microsoft Project. On June 20th, we're also going to be speaking to the Ohio Society of CPAs in Akron on Office 365, so that's a great one. If you are a CPA and attending that event, please search us out for our breakout session. And on June 21st, we're having our open house. So if you don't know, we're moving. Right now we're in Hudson, and we're actually just moving a few miles south, staying on the same road. We're just moving south into Stowe, and we are doing that at the beginning of June. So on June 21st, we're going to have our open house. We'd love to have everybody come out, just have some fun, see the place, and welcome us to our new digs. On June 28th, we're actually presenting a webinar for Cozy. We did this at the Cozy conference back in the fall. So we're doing the topic of business software trends. So what tools do you need to help your business grow? So that's a webinar. I'm waiting for the Cozy folks to post a link on that, and then I'll add it to our event calendar as well if you want to join that. So they said that it'll be open to everybody, Cozy members and non-Cozy members. So if you want to check that out. And then June 13th, really excited about this, Simplex-IT is going to be hosting a cybersecurity seminar. So we're actually going to be talking about all of these security topics that seem to be coming up in the news. And we're partnering with our security folks, Sophos. They're going to come in and speak to us a little bit about, what do we need to know to keep our companies safe and secure. So far, that's what we have planned for for the rest of May, June, and July. So we're going to be busy folks and moving in the middle of all of that. So some additional services from Simplex-IT. You're probably already familiar with the IT portion. We handle all of your IT needs. Whether you have an IT department, we can work with them, and if you don't, we can be your IT department for you. We also have stood up recently 2 new branches. Simplex DBA ensures the health, performance, usefulness of your corporate data. And then Simplex PM is what I head up, and I am trying to help the project managers at small to mid-sized businesses become more effective. So if you are struggling with project management, if if your folks don't get it, if you are struggling with how to do it with the tools that you have, you don't want to invest any more money in any additional tools, then I can definitely help you out with that. So today, the tools that we're going to talk about today. For the accidental project manager, I'm going to focus on the Microsoft offerings. Since we're a Microsoft partner, makes sense. So we're going to talk about Microsoft Project, and then I also want to show you Project Online. And I'm just going to stick with the basics. So again, we're approaching this with the accidental project manager in mind. So I'm going to approach it with the assumption that you don't have a lot of time to spend perfecting your project plan. You don't have a lot of time to spend managing resources or creating custom reports. I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do straight out of the box within Project, the very basics, just to get you started and get you rolling. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at what we have. I am going to switch over to Project. And right now, the only thing I did before this webinar was I just clicked on my project icon to open it, and this is what you see. So right from the very beginning, I wanted to show you this because I think a lot of this is helpful. So I can choose to create a blank project. I can choose to create a new one from an existing project. So let's say that you had created a project and you want to do another one just like it. You can do that as well. You can create a new one from an Excel workbook. So if you're sitting through this webinar and you're saying, oh, I already have all this stuff in Excel, that's fine. You can create a new project right from that Excel workbook. You can do it from a SharePoint task list if you're doing this in SharePoint, or there's a number of other templates that are available. So if you're a construction firm, there's a commercial construction template. I will say take a careful look at these templates. They're really designed just as a soup starter, I like to say. So they'll get you going, they'll get you started, but it's by all means not a complete answer to your project management needs. So you'll have to go in and change some things around. I'm going to go ahead and start just with a blank project though. So I'm going to select a blank project, and this is what you see when you first open up Project. Okay. So just to start out, I just want to give you a little bit of the lay of the land here, show you a little bit about Microsoft Project, and then we'll start creating a sample project. So just at a very high level, you've got your ribbon along the top, just like you do in the other Office tools. You've got your tabs that just control which tools are available. If you ever can't find something that you're looking for, remember you have the Tell Me up here, just like the other Microsoft tools. So if you're trying to find a specific report or a view, or you can't remember how to add a task or whatnot, you can always type that in the Tell Me. So you can type in Add Task, and it'll come up with Insert Task. Okay, so it's kind of smart sometimes. Down below the ribbon, you've got the timeline. So the timeline is where you can drag important events in your project so that you can see them, kind of like a milestone timeline, if you will. And then you have two parts to your Gantt chart. The one on the left here is your task list, and then the one on the right is the Gantt chart. So that's where you actually see the bars that represent the tasks. There are two things, or there's one thing that's new to Project. Well, there are a lot of things that are new to this version of Project, but one that I do want to point out is all the way down at the bottom. If you can see my mouse pointer down here, it's the way the new tasks are scheduled. So in this version of Project, you can have tasks automatically be scheduled or manually be scheduled. So automatic means that the task dates are calculated by Microsoft Project. That means if one task is delayed, the next task is automatically adjusted. So, if I was supposed to finish a task on Wednesday, but I didn't finish it until Friday, the next task then will start on Friday. Sometimes that's ideal, and then other times it's not. Sometimes you want to have that control over when your tasks are scheduled to start. So Microsoft finally realized this, and they gave us this option. And I will say that there's no right or wrong one to choose. My only advice would be to pick one or the other. It gets a little bit challenging when you're working with a schedule and you've got different tasks that are taking on different scheduling techniques, and just because it gets confusing to remember which one you picked. Now, luckily, there is this task mode column, which will show you a little icon. So if you're expecting a task to automatically adjust the dates and it's not, then you can look in the task mode and see which one you've selected. So that does help. All right, why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's do a fun project. This is one that we're doing right now within Simplex-IT, and I'm just going to create a project for my open house. Okay, so I talked about our open house on June 21st, so I'm just going to create a project for it. Okay, nothing advanced, nothing detailed, but I need one place to dump all of my tasks and all of my thoughts. So I'm just going to type in open house at the very top. I like to do this because I'll show you how you can indent tasks and have everything roll up. But for now, I'm just typing in the name of the project in the very first row. So let's see. So some of the tasks that I'll be doing for, or that we'll all be doing for this open house is, let's see, we need to create the invitation. So I'm just going to type in create the invite, and I'll spare you my bad typing skills and shorten as much as I can. So
Brenda Carr is now exiting.
So now I'm just going to type in create the invite, and I'll press enter. And you'll notice as soon as I create a new task, let's see, I guess my mute didn't work. If you can mute yourselves so that we cut down any background noise, that would be great. I'm looking, I see that most.
The problem is your voice disappearing.
Let's see here. All right, I think I can mute everyone unless you've joined by phone. So if you've joined by phone, please go ahead and mute yourself. So I was saying, as you add new tasks, you'll notice that a few things are done for you, right? So you add the new task, and Project will automatically enter defaults for you. So it defaults to a one-day task, and it always defaults to today's date to start. So if you want to change that, you can look at your Project tab, and in Project Information, you can change the start date. Okay, so let's say that I want to start planning my open house. Well, let's say that I started a while ago, because sometimes that happens, right? We start working on projects and then we think, oh, I should probably need a project schedule for this. So I'll click OK. And my project now starts on the 15th. Now notice, this is important, I entered my project start date of the 15th in this project information window. I said I wanted to start on the 15th, but the 15th is a Sunday. And because I'm using the standard project calendar, which is Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, Project was smart enough to know that, we're not really going to start this project on the 15th on a Sunday. We're going to start it on Monday, so that's why it defaults to the 16th. Okay, so I'm just going to enter some tasks here so I have something to play with. So, okay, open house, we're going to create the invite. We're going to start a registration list, or RSVP list, let's say. Not really the registration. An RSVP list. We're going to order some lunch. might order some cake. We might get some, let's say, plan drawings. Now you're all going to have an inside scoop to what we've got planned here for our open house. So we're going to plan out drawings. We're going to have some giveaways. And let's say maybe some games and fun stuff. All right, so I just entered, and you saw as I was typing, I just typed in the task name and pressed enter all the way down. So what Project does now is it creates a task for each one of those tasks that I had typed in. And it takes the default. So the default is 1 day. It thinks that each one of these tasks are going to take 1 day. Okay. Now, none of these tasks are linked to each other. So right now, it looks like everything is starting on the same day. And I know that because I can see that here in the start column. And I can also see that here in the task, in the Gantt chart. Okay. If I wanted these to happen, and let's just say for argument's sake, one right after the other. So 1 day I'm going to create the invitation. The next day I'm going to start my RSVP list. The next day I'm going to order lunch. That's probably not really the case, but it's good enough for our example here. So I'm just going to select all of the tasks. And in the task column, in the task tab, I'm going to click on the link button. And that link button just links these tasks one right after the next. And it does skip weekends. So here, you'll notice that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I have tasks happening 1 a day. Because I'm going to be under the assumption, I'm not going to get very specific with this schedule. I'm under the assumption I've got other things going on, I've got other things planned, and this is good enough for me for right now. You know, if this were a very large project that I was tracking very carefully, I would change the duration. You know, ordering lunch might take 30 minutes, so I would get very specific with it. Ordering cake might take 30 minutes. I'm just typing this right in the duration column. Planning out the drawings might take 2 days. Getting the giveaways might take 4 hours. Now, some people will tell me, you know, I don't have time for that. And that's fine. Just keep in mind that your level of granularity in your reports and everything at the end determine on what you do, you know, during the project. As far as tracking goes. So, but good enough is perfectly fine. And honestly, for something like an open house for us, I wouldn't spend a lot of time managing it. You know, as long as I've got a list of tasks, that's great, and kind of a roundabout date of when I'm going to do it, perfect. Now, the other thing that we want to do is enter our resources. So right now, I have no idea who's doing these things. Okay? I don't have anybody listed here. So for the resource names, let's say that I'm going to create the invite. I'm just going to type in Patty. And then let's say that we're going to have Zoe create the RSVP list. So she's going to keep track of everybody that's going to come to our open house. Let's see. How about if we have Michelle order lunch? And she's going to order the cake too while she's there. I'm going to plan the drawings, and you'll notice I'm just typing in, or I can do my drop-down list. Okay, so maybe the giveaways, maybe we'll send Zoe to get some giveaways for us, and then maybe Michelle will plan some games for us. Okay. So let's see. So now I've got a good idea of what I need to do to get this open house done. I know when I need to do it. I know who's going to be doing each thing. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually indent all of these tasks under open house so that everything sort of rolls up. And I can do that by selecting all of the tasks that I want to indent and using my ribbon up at the top. There's my indent and outdent buttons, and I can indent. And as soon as I indent, you'll notice that all of the durations now roll up, and you'll notice that I'm spending about a little less than 5.5 days planning this open house. Okay. Again, it's not, you know, as much or I should say as granular as you get with the duration is going to determine how accurate that total duration is for the entire, planning. So maybe the RSVP list takes, an hour, and creating the invite takes 2 hours. Okay, so now it's down to almost 4 days that it'll take me to work on this open house. All right. So from here, I could do a number of different things. So let's take a look at some different views. So this is the basics, the very basics that you need to do. I'm just going to click save, and I'm going to save this project. I actually have project online, so I'm going to click save, and I'm going to name this open house. And that'll drive me nuts if it's a lowercase o, so I'm going to change that. And then I'm just going to save that out to my project online environment. And I'll show you what that looks like. In just a minute. So actually we won't be able to see that right away. There's a few other things that I have to do. So Project Online, just to kind of give you a little bit of a background, Microsoft Project is very good for managing one project schedule. Okay? So I went in, I created my schedule for the open house. Now, if I wanted to create a schedule for my cybersecurity seminar, I would have to go back to File and New and create a schedule for that one. Okay? Project Online takes all of those schedules and sort of pulls them together, and you get that overall view of all of your projects and everything that's going on within your organization project-wise. And that's what I really want to show you. So I just went into Office 365. For those of you that have Office 365, this probably looks very familiar to you. Here is my Outlook, and I'm just going to switch. I'm going to click the menu button, and I'm just going to switch over to Project. And a minute as soon as it loads. All right, while that's loading, you'll notice that when I was in Project, I saved the project, but then I switched over to the Info menu, and I actually published the project. So saving the project saves the project schedule just like it would, on my desktop or on my computer. But publishing it is what pushes it out to Project Online. So that's what says, okay, I'm now going to be a Project Online project. And it just generates the web pages and the web views and everything, just from the same data that you typed into Microsoft Project. So it uses all of that. So now I'm just going to go into Project Online, and I'll show you a little bit about Project Online. Now I will warn you, my open house project may or may not be here. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to fully publish and show. So you may or may not see that, but there are other ones that we can look at. So here's the home page.
Is now joining.
Here's the home page of Project Online. And I'm just going to click on Projects so that you can see all the projects that we have. And this is really what I wanted to show you. So here, open house is here. So it says it did finish publishing my open house project. So that's great. So these are all of the projects that I have, theoretically going on within Simplex-IT. This is my demo site, so there's a lot of examples and a lot of demos here. But you can see very quickly all of the projects that are going on right now. So the blue bars represent when the project starts and finishes. The darker blue area is the % complete of that project. So you can see this one's about halfway done. And then the gray bar beneath it is the baseline. That's when we snapped a baseline or took a snapshot of what our plan was. And again, for somebody as an accidental project manager, you may not want to bother with that. If you do, it's very simple. I'll show you how to do it when we bounce back over to project. But that kind of just takes a picture of what your plan was, what you thought you would do or how much time you thought you would spend. And then that way you have a basis of comparison throughout the rest of the project. So I wanted to show this to you. And also I wanted to show you what the project looks like in Project Online. Now if I click on Open House, you'll notice that it looks very similar to what you saw in Microsoft Project. And the reason I wanted to show this to you is because I think that there's a lot of opportunity to save money when you're buying Microsoft Project and Project Online licenses. So really, the only people that need Microsoft Project within your organization are the ones that are actually building the project schedule. And you can even do some of that in Project Online. I'm just going to change the view to something that's a little bit easier to look at. Let's say task summary instead of earned value stuff. So if you're building project schedules, and they're very advanced project schedules, Microsoft Project is great. But you can get by with just Project Online, and I think the license is around 20 some dollars just for Project Online. You can still edit the project, you can add tasks. Now it does say that it's checked out because I have it checked out. I have it open here in Project, and I don't want to close it because I want to be able to bounce back and forth, but that is one limitation. You can either have it open in Project or Project Online. But if you're an accidental project manager, you just need somewhere cheap and easy to go add your tasks, add who's going to do them, how long it's going to take. Project Online can certainly do that for you, and it is a little bit cheaper than purchasing Microsoft Project, whether you do it through 365 or just by purchasing the license. And you can get a lot of the basics done. Now, if you want to get a little bit more robust with it, you've got larger project schedules, you need to run reports, customize views, things like that, then you definitely want Microsoft Project installed, Microsoft Project Pro versus Project Online. But you can see here that you can still do a lot with Project Online. All right, we are running close to our time. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about, please feel free to reach out to me. I love talking about this stuff. Microsoft Project and Project Online and project management in general is sort of my world. So I would love to be able to help you out with it, or hear what tools you're using, or if you want to hear about any additional tools. And also, please join us next month for the Office 360. I'm sorry, not Office 365. For the 365 Planner. We'll be talking about that on June 16th. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining. I apologize for the link not getting sent out in enough time, but we had a great turnout. I think everybody was able to find us. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Patty at simplex-it.com. Thanks, everyone.